In the realm of sports performance, the debate between nature and nurture has long been a topic of fascination. Nowhere in this debate more pronounced than in the world of running, where athletes push the limits of human capabilities. Hello friends, welcome to Oscar and Masha channel. In today's video, we're going to discuss a very interesting topic, nature versus nurture in running. If you've been interested in trail running in the season of 2021-2022, you probably know who Nienke Brinkman is. If not,
Nienke Brinkman, and I've been trail running for 4 months.
As me and you, she started running during the COVID time in 2020. But her results is not as mine or yours, I suppose. She's winning on the Golden Rail series in 2021 and she's crashing it in 2022. Look at that.
I still haven't got my head around Nienke. Maud is so good. If you look at her performances and the way she just dismantled course records that have been there for years, and that's taken her 8 years to reach that level. So for someone to come in their first season, to come second at Sierra Zonal, the biggest trail race in the world, and then her next race is to win by the distance that she has. This doesn't happen in trail racing.
Okay, those are elites, it could be just exceptional. But what about us, normal people? I think all of us have this story when a new girl or guy showing up on the company-organized competition. And straight away from the couch. And what they do? They show better results than you, are probably the same. But you has 10 years of experience with a running coach and following the strict running plans. In a few months, the same person showing up again, and they already beat your personal PB, and they're thinking about sub-3 marathon time. What's going on? Here comes this question. Am I just lazy, I don't do enough? Or maybe there is something in the genes? Let's investigate together. The video will have 3 main parts. We will start by giving the definition of used term. On the second part, we will see what science has to say about the topic. And the third part will be about useful learnings. Let's start by clarifying used terms. Since nature versus nurture is something what's used almost everywhere, from psychology to astrophysics. But what we are interested in, it will be kind of closer to the classical biological definition. We will simplify it even further. When we talk about nature, we will talk about the traits inscribed in the DNA. It's something innate, something what you have in common with your identical twin, if you have one. The nurture in this context will be mostly about training. Of course, I understand what the other environmental factors as food, quality of air, or even the moral support from family are super important for the athletic performance. But for the context of this video, we will put it aside. We will try actually answer the question, you run fast because you practice a lot, or just because you're born like that? The debates on this topic date as far back as 5th century BC, but in that moment, of course, without any big proof. And after that, lots of big minds worked in that direction. But let's move closer to our time. In 90s, Ericsson published his research, which became very famous. And I'm pretty sure you're actually also familiar with the main idea of it. It takes 10,000 hours to become an expert of almost anything if you put lots of deliberate practice. He also believed what it applies to professional athletes. Elite performance, he claims, is a product of a decade or more of maximal effort to improve performance in a domain through an optimal distribution of deliberate practice. Thus reject the model of the innate ability in the making of champions. Despite of the widespread appeal and popularity of Ericsson ideas, the evidence support of it is lacking. Heritability studies, in the other hand, accumulated lots of evidence to support the idea of genetical dominance in the sport performance. Twin studies, particularly those involving identical and fraternal twins, have been instrumental in unraveling the contribution of genetics and environment to various traits, including running performance. Identical twins share 100% of their DNA, whereas fraternal twins share approximately 50%, similar to usual siblings. Twins also share many aspects of their environment. For example, uterine environment, parenting style, education, wealth, culture, etc., because they're born into the same families. Those studies revealed that the majority of the phenotypical traits linked to the running performance as VO2 max, muscular fiber distribution, or neuromuscular coordination heavily depends on the gene. And not only that, they also proven how our body responds to exercises depends on DNA. But what about training? Is it completely useless? Science will answer that question as well. In 2014, McNamara and collaborators published a paper when they studied the topic practice versus performance. Here, no surprises. High levels of deliberate practice were associated with high level of performance. More you train, better you perform. And they even quantify it. 18% of the difference in performance between different people is directly associated with difference in training. And what is the conclusion? The individual variation in terms of starting performance levels and subsequent response to training, aka how far you can go, heavily determined by the genetics factors. And everything in between those 2 points? Exactly what you can achieve with your hard work. Interestingly, the phrase comparison is a thief of joy now has a scientific proof. Being mad at yourself because your friend is faster than you, it's the same as being mad at yourself because your hair is black and his is red. Both of those features are genetically determined, as we know now. The other thing to note, the scientists still didn't discover one specific gene responsible for the great athletic performance. You still cannot just send your blood sample to the lab and receive in a few days a definitive answer. You are the future champion! But the thing we definitely know, training will make you better in running. And yes, it will look different for you than for someone else. You will still progress, no doubt. And the last point what I wanted to discuss in relation to this topic. There are many successful runners who made themselves a big name thanks to the good results in competition. And many of them propose their coaching services. As we saw earlier, being a fast, successful runner doesn't necessarily mean they know how to make someone else faster. Big part of their success, it's a win in a genetic lottery. Being coach and being good in running is not the same thing. Make sure when you choose someone, they also have knowledge and education to help you to progress. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. And as a bonus, enjoy Luna!